contract rally the evening before we open contract negotiations that seek to achieve a contract that not only gives our members dignity and respect, but recognizes and rewards them as valuable employees. We're honored to have with us this evening top labor leaders, community leaders, AFL constituency groups, Grand Alliance organizations dedicated to saving our public postal service, APWU union members, guests, friends, supporters, family members, and last but not least, our APW sisters and brothers who have joined us via live stream. We've had so many hits, we think it's crashed the website, but they're working on that. And if it has and you can't get through www.apw.org, go to YouTube. It'll let you in. We have a rousing list of speakers who are each going to give us a 2 to 3 minutes of encouraging words of wisdom as they stand with us in our struggle to achieve a decent contract. So let's get started. But before we do that, we must do this. What do you want? When do you want it? What do you want? When do you want it? So let's get busy and invite our first speaker to the stage. Everyone, please join me in welcoming the Executive Vice President of the AFL-CIO, my friend, your friend, our brother, Tefere Gebre.
How you guys doing? How you doing? That's loud. And we need to be really loud. Because you are leading the charge. Because what I want is either this government ships up or all of us revolt, right? Revolt. So brothers and sisters, starting a while ago, they have been testing us. They have been testing not only APW, not only FGE, not just one union or another. They are testing all of us. They are saying, we know these union guys talk about solidarity. Let's see if they mean it. We got the opportunity right now to practice that solidarity. We got an opportunity right now to demand for you what you're demanding and to get the bus drivers and the nurses and the doctors and the teachers behind you until you win your contract, right? Our federal government has gone rogue. What they are doing to federal employees is the beginning of what's coming to the private sector if we don't watch out. So we'll probably hear about the Janus case tomorrow or Thursday. One way or another, brothers and sisters, let me finish by telling you this. They can pass whatever law they want. They can come up with whatever decision they want to come up with. But it's up to our solidarity because the workers' movement cannot stop by any politician, by any court, or by any corporation because workers have figured it out everywhere. Everywhere where dictators exist. There is a labor movement in Qatar, there is a labor movement in Ethiopia, there is a labor movement in Egypt. It's not because the government offered it to them, it's because workers demand it. That's what we're demanding here in the United States. Fight on, fight on, fight on. Thank you.
Fight on, right on. How about that? Thank you, Tefere. Our next speaker we have with us, but first before I do that, can I ask all the veterans in the house to please stand up? We thank you for your service. And our next speaker is Will Fischer, Director of Government Relations, Vote Vets.
Thank you so much. Good evening, sisters and brothers. Thank y'all so much for having me, giving me the opportunity to spend a little time with you here tonight. Now, we just did an illustration to highlight who all the room in here was a veteran. Now, one more next step on that. Would you do me a favor if anybody in here has a mother, father, son or daughter, or sister or brother who's a veteran? Raise their hand. Okay? Now, leave them up. Now, one last question. Raise your hand if you know a veteran in your local union back home. Right? Now, take a look around. All right, we can put our hands down. Was anybody in here surprised to see how many people had their hands up just now? Now, he did that exercise to illustrate one simple point, and that is this. You cannot call yourself pro-veteran if you're anti-union. You cannot. You cannot hang signs up in your office on Capitol Hill talk about how much you love veterans and simultaneously support policies that do everything they can to rip away from veterans what veterans need most, and that's access to a good job. Now, the very last point I want to make, because I believe in this 2 to 3 minute thing, is this. This is not a conversation about jobs for veterans. This is not a conversation about jobs for postal workers. This is a job and a conversation about the future of what this government looks like and the future of the whole working class in this country. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be standing in front of you tonight and alongside of you every day moving ahead, because what you're doing, APWU, is not just a fight for you, for your union, and for your sisters and brothers, but for your sisters and brothers throughout the entire working class. And it will be you leading us all, taking the fight. Taking the fight to those privatizers and those in the ruling class who wish to do everything they can to throw the yoke of economic and wage slavery upon us, and we are going to throw it off. And we're going to throw it off, and we're going to do something magnificent. And that is this. We are going together and in solidarity achieve not only the type of life that we want, but the type of life that we deserve. And I thank you so very, very much.
Is Mackenzie Baris in the house yet? We went, a group of us, on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, down to the National Museum of Women, when Jobs of Justice honored those teachers from West by God, Virginia. And I can say West by God, Virginia, because I'm one of those mountain mamas, take me home. With that, sisters and brothers, I give you Mackenzie, Deputy Director, Jobs with Justice.
So I'm so proud and honored to be in this room with all of you today on behalf of Jobs with Justice and our national network of 40 coalitions around the country to offer you our solidarity and pledge that we will stand with you in this fight. I also want to tell you why personally it's so important for me to be here and why I will be fighting with all I have to support you. As the granddaughter of a postal worker, I know firsthand what a good union job means to a family. My father still talks about how my grandfather stayed up late studying the contract when he became a shop steward, and how participating in the historic 1970s strike changed his life and our families. Because of the contracts that you've won over the years, my grandparents lived out the end of their lives with dignity, with good health care benefits. I also know, as the daughter of an aging parent living in a rural community in Maine, the importance of universal 6-day service and having post offices open and operating in every community. And as someone who is a community organizer right here in Washington, D.C. for more than a decade, I know the importance of good postal jobs for neighborhoods, and especially for African American residents in D.C. who were shut out by racism from so many opportunities, but were able to find good quality living wage jobs in the post office that created stability for their neighborhoods and for our whole city. Across the country, our Jobs with Justice local coalitions know this too, and that's why we're all with you. We know the importance of your fight, not just for your own families, but for your communities and for every community across the country. Our Jobs with Justice locals have fought local facilities closures everywhere from Bend, Oregon to Bangor, Maine. They've organized against attacks on the Postal Service in the past decades and are now joining the movement for postal banking. Nationally, we're proud members. Yes. We're proud to be members of the Grand Alliance to Save Our Public Postal Service and the Campaign for Postal Banking. We're with you in this fight to win a fair contract that ensures good jobs for postal workers, but also in fighting the White House's draconian proposal to privatize postal services and gut public services. Yes. As you get fired up to go into bargaining tomorrow morning, know that your allies at Jobs with Justice are there with you and the rest of the labor movement, and that we know that your fight is vital for the future of our country and our economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mackenzie. We have 86 organizations that belong to a Grand Alliance, and we're fortunate to have them support the American Postal Workers Union in helping us to save the Postal Service. That's why I'm happy to introduce to you another supporter. Representing the NAACP, we have the Director of the Washington Bureau, Senior Vice President for Advocacy and Policy, Brother Hilary O. Shelton.
Good evening. Because we're fired up and ready to go. Fired up and ready to go. Let me just say that's not just something on your t-shirt. That's something the NAACP has carried for generations. We understand the importance and appreciate what you are about to do, what you're in the midst of, Ms. Clayola, what's going on right here, Mark. We're just excited that you're moving forward to uphold those traditions, making sure that every hard-working man and woman is able to get a fair day's wage for a hard day's work. We're fired up and ready to go. We're fired up because we know what they're trying to do to us to try to maximize their profits on the heads of our children. We've seen how they played the program here. They call it privatization. We call it something else. But I'm a homegrown, church-going young man. I got some of that right, maybe not the rest of it. But I know that when I sit with my friends like Bill Luce, who was also sitting right here on the front of this room, someone that has for the NAACP and so many others throughout our country and around the world. See, I bumped into Bill in all kind of airports across every place, spreading the great word of what you're doing, that every man and woman should be able to work together and guarantee that they're going to be treated with fairness and dignity, that everyone should have the opportunity to have a hard day's work, but get a fair day's wage, and insurance should be involved, and protecting our children should be part of it. We should make sure we all have that opportunity to fully participate. But that's not what they want, is it? No. They're playing technology against us. They're playing all kind of other things. We've seen what those other postal delivery services do, don't we? Yes. We know what they provide and what they don't. We know how they're treated when somebody is being threatened. We know they're very well, they just let them go all together. But we know that this union is the one that moves forward to take on. So I don't want to put a whole lot of weight on you right now, but maybe the pressure is something I'll have to share. We're counting on you because we've seen what these folks at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue have been doing. We're counting on you. Because we've seen and sat down with those on Capitol Hill. They will move to chisel away at what you've gained and make sure you can get no more and actually lose something in the process of negotiation. We're counting on you because we need you to move forward, to do what you've always done, those hard-working men and women from every end of this country to the other end, to stand up and walk together and work together and make sure that they know that when we enter the room, we're fired up and ready to go. All right?
Thank you. Brother Shelton will be sitting at the main table with us tomorrow morning. Now, we have a songbird in our midst, and we can't have a rally unless she does what she does. She was recently elected the president of the Coalition of Labor Union Women. Miss Elise Bryant, where are you? Come on up, sister.
Thank you, Liz. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them, we are the union. Mighty, mighty union. Mighty. Union. Mighty. Union. Mighty, mighty union. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them, we are the union. Mighty, mighty union. Mighty. Union. American. Postal. Workers. Union. Mighty, mighty union. Thank you. Thank you, family. Yeah. Fired up. Ready to go. Too hot. Hot damn. Yeah. I was working on that song, but it didn't quite come together for me. But don't worry, I'm going to bring it to you next time. It is an honor and a pleasure to stand before you and be with you in this time where we know what is up. We know what time it is. What time is it? That's right. And they know that in the White House. And they know that in Congress. And they know that you, in the public sector, is the wall, the firewall between us and total disintegration of the labor movement in the United States. We are the backbone of democracy. The Constitution says, we the people, in order to form a more perfect, what? They didn't say organization. They didn't say association. They said union. They knew exactly what they were talking about. And they know exactly what we're talking about. They want to privatize the Postal Service so the same runaway, greedy you-know-whaties can make even more money. And they won't get the service. The public won't get the service. Our community won't get the service that we know union members bring everywhere we go. It's about quality. They've already proven it. And I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, with Judy Beard. And in Detroit, we were a union town. I didn't know anything else but union. On Labor Day, we would march down Woodward Avenue, down Michigan Avenue, and come together in Cadillac Square as one voice. And we knew the power of standing together. And my mother told me, Elise, you gotta do 3 things. 1, change your underwear every day. 2, get the house and the car in your name. I'm just saying, Liz, I'm just saying, okay? And marry a union man. And if you were going to marry a union man in Detroit, you better marry somebody from the UAW, right, who's walking in the auto industry, or marry somebody from the steel workers who worked in the steel mills, or marry somebody who worked in the post office. And you know why that was? Because the auto workers and the steel workers would get shut down in midsummer, and they'd close down and be laid off, right? But the postal service was open every day. Then there was no close and layoff time. And so if you married a postal worker, you had a husband who had a job all the time and bringing in the union. And of course, we're going to work in the post office too, because my mother told me, you're going to work, sister. You're going to work, because that's who we were. And I love coming to the postal workers union. I love Sister Liz. When she gives me a call, I come. When you gives me a call, I come. When President Dimondstein gives me a call, I come, because I can tell you this. As a Coalition of Labor Union Women, yeah, y'all, come on down. We know that a man of quality is not afraid of a woman seeking equality. Okay? And when the Coalition of Labor Union Women had our leadership conference at the beginning of May, we honored several sisters for the work that they did. Of those 5 women that we honored, only one of them, president, showed up for the ceremony. Guess who that was? Mark Dimondstein was in the house. When Judy Beard was honored, Mark Dimondstein made it his business to be there. And he didn't have a speech to give. He wasn't on the podium. He wasn't on the program. He was just there in support. So I have to be here in support of the American Postal Workers Union. CLU stands in support of the American Postal Workers Union. Yeah. And I had the honor for many years of coming to your convention and having a chorus. Y'all remember the chorus we'd have? And we'd get together before the convention started and rehearse and everything, and we'd write our own song. So this is the song that we came up with whatever years ago that was. So it goes like, you probably recognize it. It's going to be hard. I don't make too much right here. It goes like, down, down, clap. You recognize the song? What's the name of the song? We Will Rock You. Okay, one more time. We will rock you. When the Detroit newspaper strike back in 1996 or 97, we said we're going to change the song to a union song. And instead of saying we will rock you, we said, we are union. We are union. All right, y'all got it. Buddy, you're a scab, you're a big scab, working at the news, gonna be on the street someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, writing your lies all over the place. Say, yeah, a little louder, y'all, a little louder. Okay. People here today gotta work hard, play hard, working at the post office a live long day. We're workers on the move, union groove. Look out, buddy, we're coming on through. Say, we are union. Yeah, we are. We are union. Try to privatize us, try to downsize us, you can't make us back. Down today, you're a big disgrace. You got mud on your face. APW is on your case. Say! A little bit louder, a little bit louder. We are you. One more time, one more time, one more time. We are. Last time. We are union.
With that kind of support, ain't no stopping us now. While it is always good to have supporters all over the place, we had a gentleman who did everything that he possibly could do to be with her this evening, be here with us this evening, but he is so busy But he sent us a message that's going to be read by Mr. Warren Gunnels, and that person is Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. Well, let me thank all of you for being here today. And Senator Sanders sends his regrets. He really wishes he could be here today. And this is what he says. I want to thank all of the postal workers who are here today, standing up for decent paying jobs at the United States Postal Service. It is incumbent on the Postal Service to sit down at the negotiating table and agree to a contract that pays all of you a fair and livable wage, that respects your rights in the workplace, and that makes sure that all of you can retire with the dignity and the respect that you have earned and deserve. The beauty of the Postal Service is that it provides universal service 6 days a week to every corner of America, no matter how small or how remote. Today, brothers and sisters, we need to send a very loud and a very clear message to Donald Trump. No, we will not allow you and your billionaire friends to privatize the Postal Service. At a time when the middle class is disappearing, no, we will not allow you to destroy middle class jobs at the United States Postal Service. At a time when senior citizens and small businesses depend on the Postal Service operating 6 days a week, we will not allow you to end Saturday mail service. At a time when the Postal Service is competing with high-speed internet services, no, we will not allow you to slow down the delivery of mail. You know more than anybody else that the main reason for the financial problems at the Postal Service is due to the disastrous pre-funding mandate of future retiree health benefits 75 years into the future. No other business or government agency is burdened with such an absurd and draconian mandate. Brothers and sisters, this Bush-era mandate must end! We must not allow the Postal Service, we must also allow the Postal Service to raise new revenue by offering products and services that the American people need and deserve, including basic banking services. Look, there's no question that the Postal Service needs to become better equipped to meet the demands of the digital revolution, but the answer is not to privatize it. The answer is not to radically downsize the Postal Service or make delivery slower. The answer is not to devastate rural communities by closing thousands of post offices. Working together, we will save and strengthen the Postal Service, not dismantle it. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Senator Bernie Sanders. Keep up the great work.
We have some of us in this room who collect shoes, like our sister from California. But then we have some women in Congress who loves hats. I was so honored to be there when she was sworn in as the 100th woman of Congress. And guess where she comes from? Greensboro, North Carolina. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Alma Adams. All right, I was going to ask you, are you fired up?
I am too. Listen, it is a privilege and certainly it's a pleasure to be here. Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you tonight. Thank you, my sister. I'm Congresswoman Alma Adams. Absolutely. And I represent North Carolina's 12th Congressional District. I want to thank my friend, your president, Mark Dimondstein. Mark and I go back over 35 years now. He probably didn't want me to tell you that he's a little bit older than me. Back to our days in Greensboro, North Carolina, when I met him on the battlefield. I see nothing has changed. He's still fired up, and I'm glad to see that, Mark, you're still in the trenches, still doing what is right. Still consistent and committed as he was when he was elected, your president, when he pledged to ensure the people's rights. So I want you to know that we just took votes over in the Capitol, but as a member of Congress, I'm fighting alongside him and each of you against any plan that this administration has to privatize services of the post office and other federal agencies. You know, the U.S. Postal Service is owned by the people of this country, not the Congress, not the president, not Wall Street, but the people. Privatization would take the authority away from the people, and we don't want that. I've always believed that when someone messes with something that we own, we have to actively fight to defend it. And I am just so appreciative that you're in this fight to stay. You know, down home in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I now live, you know, they drew my house out of my district, but they didn't draw the district out of me, and I just moved on to Charlotte. And I got to tell you, they didn't think I was going to win, Mark. You know, they said, she's from Greensboro. She can't do it. But we took all of the area in the upper part, and we went into Charlotte and took 20% of the vote there, and we didn't have a runoff. We just ran them off. So let me tell you. And so it was because of people like you and organizations that stood with me. And I want you to know that I'm going to stand with you. You know, every day it feels like in Charlotte that there's a new crane on the horizon. And as you know, with construction comes a lot of traffic. But sometimes I wonder where all those cars are coming from, and I say, where in the world are the people coming from? But there's one car that I'll never get annoyed seeing. Any guesses? Well, let me tell you, it's the friendly white, blue of the United States Postal Service vehicle. And I don't have to tell you that that Postal Service is an important agency. It is the most important agency. You handle 47% of the world's mail. You drove 1.5 billion miles last year in rain, snow, hail, or sleet, gloom of the night to make every letter and package and parcel get into the right hands. So let me clear it up. You perform an essential function, and without which our country cannot do without. So all of you, you've earned our collective respect, and you've worked hard. You've dedicated your lives to this work, and you've sacrificed. But most importantly, you've earned the right to a fair and decent wage. And let me tell you, there's nothing more important to me than protecting the benefits that you have fought so hard for and that we fought so hard together for. I've been out here now for more than 35 years. The Lord has blessed me to go from school board to Congress. That's where I met Mark. We were out fighting for the schools in Greensboro. So for almost 50 years, the American Postal Workers Union has protected your hard-won collective bargaining rights. So I'm tipping one of my 1,136 hats off to APWU. But let me make it clear. Let me make it clear today that we collectively face the biggest test of our shared mission. We face an administration that's hell-bent on redefining everything that the Postal Service represents. An administration that's willing to destroy a principle that dates back to our founding fathers, the principles of mail delivery as a public good. The Trump administration has made it clear through his budgets that he would like nothing more than to see mail delivery in the hands of profiteers and his rich buddies. You see, the beginnings of this plan would put cuts to both 6-day and door-to-door mail delivery. Now, my mail in Charlotte's coming late each and every day now. They're messing with the post office. So his constant attack on the Postal Service's policy toward Amazon show the hostility and frankly, the ignorance of how important the 200,000 postal workers you represent are to this nation's economic outlook. So as an independent agency, the Postal Service is essential in ensuring that seniors get their medication. Like me, I'm up there. The family get their Christmas cards, and that our aspiring college kids get those acceptance letters and those packages from home on time. And so, as it does without a cent, and they do this without a cent of taxpayer money. So I want to just before I sit down, call on everyone who's gathered here today and to make it clear that the principle of public mail delivery in this country has existed for 233 years. And it'll continue to go on. Neither rain, nor snow, nor hail, nor sleet, nor heat, nor Trump, nor the gloom of night will change that fact. So folks, you don't have to agonize. We're not going to agonize anymore. We're going to strategize. We're going to organize. We're not going to privatize. Thank you. God bless.
Wow. Ain't no stopping us now. She talked about the blue and white truck. She talked about the hail, sleet, storm. I think she was trying to help me introduce our next speaker. President Fred Rolanda was unable to be here with us this evening, but he has sent us someone to represent him. And it is my honor to give you the gentleman who represents the National Association of Letter Carriers this evening, Mr. Jim Sauber.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. You know, for years and years, our unions negotiated contracts together. And when I woke up this morning, I saw on my schedule this rally was starting. I had that panic attack for a minute thinking, oh my God, bargaining's starting today. I'm not ready. But I'm really fired up to be here. It's great to be among friends. I want to thank Mark for inviting me. Fred couldn't be here today. He's out of town, but our executive vice president will be at the table tomorrow, Brian Renfro. We stand in full solidarity. Our unions are so tied together, and a lot of the credit of that belongs to President Dimondstein. We had our falling out many, many years ago, but Mark has brought the postal labor movement together. And we're very deeply appreciative for that, and because we are stronger together. We faced many, many battles over the years. We went on strike together in 1970. We fought off the Reagan privatization in the 80s. We fought and won Hatch Act rights, political rights for postal employees. We fought off cuts to Saturday delivery. We fought plant closings. We're going to continue to fight, and your round of bargaining is the opening battle of this war to stop the privatization of the Postal Service, and we're going to be there with you shoulder to shoulder all the way. Thank you so much.
Jim is the Chief of Staff for the National Association of Letter Carriers. You ready? Representing the United Food and Commercial Workers, not yet, Paul. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I gotta separate us postal unions, just a little bit. The United Food and Commercial Workers, Vice President Robin Williams.
Good evening, APWU. It is a pleasure to be here tonight with you all. So I represent the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, 1.3 million members across the U.S. and Canada. And we stand with you tonight on this attack because attack against one is an attack against us all. And I tell you, this administration did not waste any time attacking not unions, but working people. APWU, you've been attacked before. It's not the first. Your secretary-treasurer have been organizing community groups. You have 86 partners across this country with you, standing with you. And we have stood with you for several years. This is not the first attack, and guess what? It may not be the last. But know this, we stand with you. You know, I'm a labor activist, I'm a civil rights activist, but I'm led by my faith. And in 1 Timothy, the Bible says, the root or a root of all evil is money. Money is a root of all evil. Didn't say money is evil, but whenever you see evil, follow it, you're going to see money is at the end of it. And under this administration, they're trying to privatize everything for their conies or their cronies and their rich people. This is about power and money. Not only are they attacking our good jobs, but they're attacking our rights. They're attack on voting rights, voter suppression laws. They're attacking us everywhere they can. But guess what? There is an election this year, in several states in this country, including the state that I live in, Maryland, where almost 18,000 voters may be off the rolls this year. They are attacking us with all their tricks. But we will stay woke, we will stay together, and you all should know we are with you throughout this country to make sure that we protect all union jobs, all working people. We're with you, UFCW.
Thank you, Robin. All right, Paul, I'm ready for you now. While Paul is working his way up here, and I'm going to give him his proper introduction, everybody wave and say hello to our sisters and brothers who are watching this rally. There are several tailgate parties going on, cocktail hours, food, whole bunch of stuff. They've been texting and texting and texting. I wish there was a way that we could recognize each and every one of them. But hello, APWU! It's my pleasure to introduce to you the president of the National Postal Mail Handlers Union, my friend from New York. Paul and I have known each other for a few years. He was there when I was the regional coordinator. We worked together then. He's now working together with APW at this level, and we're happy to have you this evening. Paul Hogrogian.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. It is my honor and privilege on behalf of 45,000 mail handlers across the country to deliver this message of solidarity. It's no great secret that the relationship between our organizations hasn't always been the greatest. But that shit's got to stop. We have to concentrate on what unites us rather than obsessing on the little things that divide us. Quite frankly, we have much, much bigger battles to fight, and we have to fight it together. Last week, all pretenses are gone. The OMB issued their report making it clear that the Trump administration wants to privatize the post office. And we have to stand together. All postal workers have to stand together because nobody can do it alone. All postal workers have spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears making the United States Post Office the greatest postal service in the world. And quite frankly, they're gonna have to put up one hell of a fight before they take it away from me. So we have to send a message to the powers that be. Postal workers are going to be united. We have to send the message to the powers to be, postal workers are not alone. We have the power of the whole labor movement behind us. We have to send the message to power to be, it's not just labor alone. We have friends throughout the communities. We have friends in the Grand Alliance. And together, we're gonna win this battle. And a message to my brothers and sisters from the APWU, let's not forget what we're here for today. We're here to get a fair contract. And on behalf of the Mail Handlers Union, I pledge we're gonna do everything we can to make sure you get a good contract. Because we know what affects one of us affects all of us. And if I could be a little more crude, whatever they try to ram down your throat this year, they're gonna try to shove up our ass next year. So, let's fight today for a better tomorrow, and I will proudly be sitting at the bargaining table with my brothers and sisters tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Oh, me, oh, my, oh. Fired up! Fired up! I think one of my little daughters must have known she was going to be next. I see she done found her way out of her seat, out of the room. But I know she'll be back. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for her to come back, we have a young lady here who thought she was just coming by to say hello, APWU. I'm here to support you, mingle with you, and whatever. But she's coming to the stage this evening because she's always been there for us whenever we needed her. She is Vice President Emerita of the AFL-CIO, Ms. Arlene Baker.
Well, good evening, APWU. Yes, Mark, I was just going to come by, be with my brothers and sisters and say, I stand with you, I'm in the fight with you. And then Liz say a few words. Liz, I don't know what it is I can say because it has all been said and said so eloquently. But this is what we all know, and each of us has presented it in our own way. This contract that you will start to bargain tomorrow is not just about APWU. But it is about every single working person in this country. Whether they are in a union or not. We know that they will try, as they often do, to find ways to divide us, whether it's in the courts as we wait decisions that they think will cripple our public sector unions or attempt to privatize the postal services. But what we know is that we are stronger together, and we will be together. It's not just about us in this room, but it's about all of our communities throughout. And so I come to say that I stand with you, not just wearing my hat as a labor activist or a labor leader, but more importantly, as someone who truly believes in the power of collective bargaining. So I look forward to your team going there tomorrow, standing strong, negotiating firm, and coming out with a contract that you can proudly hold up and that we all will be the benefactors of. Because what we know, sisters and brothers, and it is said so well up here, that it is only a union contract that will give us the economic power that we need to have a better tomorrow. So go and bargain for a better tomorrow for all of us. APWU.
Such an exciting evening. We have a gentleman who traveled all the way from, anybody here from Texas? Larry Crawford, I know you in the room. Jack, we hear you here mighty quietly. We have a gentleman who's traveled all the way from Texas. I understand that he might have been at the Texas conference with my president a couple of weeks ago. Been a friend of postal workers for a long time. Been in the struggle for a long time. He's the former agricultural commissioner of Texas. He is now a radio personality. He wears that hat that I'm going to try to get one day. Sisters and brothers, Jim Hightower.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. Wow, just makes me happier than a chigger at a nudist colony to be looking out at all of you unabashed champions of public service and the common good. And thanks to my buddy Mark Dimondstein for allowing a scruffy Texas populace like myself to be part of tonight's Postal Palooza as we gear up to battle the corporate profiteers and their political whores. We broader members of the Grand Alliance are standing with the American Postal Workers Union, not only because you are standing for postal workers and postal customers, but especially because you are also standing for the future of America's working class. And a little more deeply even, you are standing for the future of America's democratic ideals. What are those? Economic fairness, social justice, equal opportunity for all people. That's what we represent as a country. That's what we stand for. But as we've seen, the corporate plutocrats, autocrats, and kleptocrats have been knocking down the middle class, holding down the poor, and tearing down our democratic rights. You know, economists have a technical term for what they're doing to us. It's called stealing. Remember that song that Woody Guthrie had about outlaws? Said us through this world I travel, I see lots of funny men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun and some with a fountain pen. It's the fountain pens who are doing the serious stealing in our society today. I come to you not just from Austin, Texas, but from South Austin. Over on the south side of the river there, we're a little more irreverent, a little more iconoclastic, a little more weird. In fact, our unofficial slogan on the south side is we're all here because we're not all there. And I think that's what brings us together tonight. Because we know that the powers that be are not at all there in terms of grasping the fundamental American credo that we're all in this together. That's what they're trying to destroy. They think that their good fortunes can be protected against the well-being of the many. And by the powers that be, I'm talking about what I call the 6 Bs, the bosses, the bankers, the billionaires, the big shots, bastards, and bullshitters. They think they're the top dogs, and we're just a bunch of fire hydrants out here in the countryside. And now here comes this Tweety Bird president that we have, with a freak show government of Goofy, Daffy, Sleepy, Sleazy, Larry, Curly, and Moe. They say they're going to fix the government. They use fix in the same way that your veterinarian uses it. They call this report about governmental reorganization delivering government solutions. How ironic, right? Because one of their solutions is to destroy the one agency of government that delivers every single day to 154 million addresses in America. Jack Nicholson once said that he didn't understand the meaning of the word irony until one day his mother called him a son of a bitch. Well, to beat the son of a bitch and privatizers in our country, we've got to go to the people. We don't just go to Congress. That's where we end up. We go first out into every zip code in America. I grew up in a small town. I was a small guy, and fights break out in junior high school and et cetera. And I learned early on, you should never hit a man with glasses. You should use something much heavier. And the heaviest thing that we have are the people. The people. That is our power. People overwhelmingly are with us. They do not want, it's the most popular public agency in America. They do not want to drive down somewhere to go get their mail. They do not want it delivered 3 times a week. They want it just exactly what we have right now, which is a postal service that delivers to every home in America, wherever it is, at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, for God's sake. So I say we take this issue of privatization, call it what it is, just privatization, and we go right in the face of every Republican candidate for Congress. She ought to be hit with Trump's plan to privatize the people's public post office. Shove it right in their face and right up their ass, if you care. Our power is in the people. Let us go to the people. Stop listening to the Democratic Party consultants and the geniuses and the donors who keep saying we got to minimize and just be moderate and et cetera, because we got to appeal to those moderate Republicans. I got to tell you, there's 6 moderate Republicans in the state of Texas. That's all there are. We don't have to appeal to them. We got to go to the people themselves. I'll leave you with this thought. It's from Louis Gouzard, the late great Southern humorist, that said something years ago that we Southerners, and certainly Clayola and I and others know to be true, which is there's a great big difference between being naked and being naked. Being naked means you've got no clothes on. Being naked means you've got no clothes on and you are up to something. Let's get naked together. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh. Ain't no stopping us now. Shana. I know you just thought you were coming along. Shana Peeks is a director of organizing for the United Mine Workers.
I just want to say that I'm so honored and humbled to be here. Liz is one of the women that took me in when I first came about and showed me exactly what it means to be in a union. And for her coming from where she comes from, I know on behalf of our president, Cecil Roberts, with the United Mine Workers of America, that we stand with you. And as my sister Robin said, a wrong against one is a wrong against all. And so if we stand together now and always and work together for any fight that we have to do to make sure that we have equal rights and a living wage, because there's no way that I should be working all day and can't take care of my family and can't provide for myself. And so if we fight together, we will definitely make this win possible. And I want you to know that UMWA stands with you because you stand with us and we stand with you. Thank you.
Young people are something else. Where's our Young Members Committee? All right, where's our Rank and File Committee? Where are our local officers? Now, where are all them national officers? All right, APW in the house. I said the other day that every organization has to have someone to make sure that we're going on the right page, quacking along together. You know, you can quack, quack, and you look, and then somebody done went over there quacking. But our Constitution provides for a gentleman to make sure we're on the same page, make sure that we're doing the right thing as far as contract negotiations is concerned. And at this time, I give you our Director of Industrial Relations, Van Zimmerman.
Woo! Are we fired up and ready to go? I know I am. An earlier speaker said, we're counting on you, and I got a message. The 200,000 APW members, you can count on us. We're not backing down. They're picked on the wrong group this time. The USPS can bring it on. President 45 can bring it on because they're going to lose. We're going to stand strong with our brother and sister unions. I'll try not to curse as much as Paul, but I might anyway. But one thing, because when we get a fight, we scrap. The APW scraps, the mail handler scraps, the letter carrier scraps, and we got a message for the USPS coming up here in a video. You picked a fight with the wrong people. You'll see our brothers and sisters across the country that says, we demand dignity and respect. We work hard. We deliver for the American people. We deliver the mail. And we demand a contract that we deserve, the dignity. And I ask you to watch this video and demand with them and us what we deserve. All we want is what we deserve and what a working class deserves. Are you with us, brothers and sisters? Woo! So please watch the video as you see these brothers and sisters standing up. It's right there. But no, anyway, I think it'll come on in a minute.
Good morning. My name's Michael.
Doug Galloway. Tim Eden.
Jacqueline Hall.
Cecil Sanders.
Marlon Walker.
Patricia Thomas.
Nombre Juan Carlos Gonzalez.
Sylvia Reno. From McAllen area local.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Orange, Texas.
Joplin, Missouri.
Roxbury Post Office. I work at Ithaca, Maryland.
I'm a TTO. GMF from Miami area.
Raymond, Ohio.
Tingsboro, Massachusetts.
I'm Alice Clark. I work at Provo, Utah. I'm a member of the Francis Steve Philby Local 181. I'm a proud member of the American Postal Workers Union.
I'm a proud member of the Western Michigan Area Local.
I'm the motor vehicle craft.
I'm a scheme clerk.
I love my job waiting on customers.
Retired as an expediter.
I love mail.
I give excellent customer service.
Operational maintenance. I fix it when it breaks.
Parcel sort machines. We also have sack sorting machines. We also have high-speed tray sorters.
I fix lots and lots of tray carts. That's how I do my part to help the mail flow smoothly.
We try to teach everyone how to work safely.
We service 5 zip codes, from the poorest neighborhoods of Boston to some of the more wealthiest neighborhoods of Boston, but they all get the same great service.
It's become
some of our customers' routine to come here. That's part of their day, it's part of their lives.
Los empleados postales brindamos un servicio esencial para las comunidades.
We are losing good middle-class jobs, and it's very important for us to stay together and have a strong union and a strong contract to preserve what we have.
This company cannot be any stronger than the strength of its people holding it up by their backs.
We're fighting for jobs.
Good jobs to help pay for college and families. My typical day is coming in here really early in the morning.
Sometimes I open this building at 3 a.m. in the morning.
I come in at 4 in the morning.
We start at 4 in the morning. I think we deserve a new contract, a good contract.
It's our contract or our rights.
We want a stronger contract for PSC.
We're very hard-working Americans here. We love our job, we love our customers.
We are the Postal Service. Without us, the Postal Service would not exist. We move in the mail. It's gratifying.
All I'm asking for is appreciation. Appreciate me.
We need respect in these mail facilities. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will.
I have family to take care of. Vacations, our benefits, paid holidays. Pay raises, that's a big one.
We need to make sure that everybody is equally represented.
Because this is about your future pay, your future benefits. We have to join as one, and we have to fight for our union.
Fired up and ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up. Fired up. Fired up. Fired up. Fired up. All right. Saturday night past, we were honored. President Dimondstein showed us a film, all of the national officers together, called At the River I Stand. We enjoyed watching the movie, and we were honored to have a gentleman who was involved in the 1968 sanitation workers' strike and was there during the assassination of Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. He's the former Secretary-Treasurer of ASME, a founder and former president of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, and last but not least, where are you, Delio? He's a member of the Cleveland area local American Postal Workers Union. Sisters and brothers, join me in welcoming the legendary icon, William Bill Lucy.
Thank you so much, Liz. I want to identify myself with the remarks of Jim, who just got through telling us where this deal is at. Before I came over, I sat down and sent a brief message to the White House. It was instruction of how do you identify a rabbit from a lion, because apparently nobody over there knows. I mean, you can cuss a rabbit out, and that's that. But you can't make the same mistake with a lion. And to talk about privatizing the Postal Service clearly means you have misidentified a rabbit and a lion. You cannot jump on the American Postal Workers Union and think you ain't got to bring it with you. As Ben Hooks used to say, we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will skate across on the ice to land one more lick. All of the allied groups, your trade union partners, are with you in your fight for fairness and equity. We hear all this smack coming out the White House about the respect. Well, if we're gonna get respect, put it in the check. Because you're not gonna end these discussions with some executive order that claims this and claim that. Your ass got to be clear. When we leave the table, we're going to leave with a contract that respects the service that we do for this nation as a whole and respect the workers who do it. Let's get at it, APWU, and let's get it done.
Ain't no stopping us now. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to introduce this next guest to you. He's always been there for us. He retired and thought he was going to go into retirement, but that didn't work. He's still there for us. Whenever we need him, whenever Mark calls him, whenever he has to do whatever he has to do. He's the former president of Communication of America, Workers of America. He's the Our Revolution chair. He's my friend, my brother, your brother, Larry Cohen.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, everybody. So this privatization thing, you've been there before. You led the country when you defeated Staples. And the way you defeated Staples is the way you'll defeat Trump and the task force. It's by mobilizing in every post office, in every zip code. It's by saying to the American people, we know what democracy looks like, and it doesn't look like privatizing the post office. They want us on defense, and they is not just this government. As Hightower said, it's the 6 B's. I won't repeat them all, I'll miss one. And it won't be bullshitters or bastards. But we know who they are. It's not just the public sector. It's every worker who has a decent job. That job is under attack. It's the bus drivers in this city. And it's not just Republicans. This city council has privatized route after route, trolley after trolley, $10 an hour bus drivers, and that ain't right. Charging us, all of us, with the future costs of retiree health care. That ain't right either, and that's bullshit. No one else is paying for the future cost of retiree health care except the post office. And that went on through the 8 years of Obama as well. And he's way better than this president. So we got to dig deep. And when Liz said, as it is the case, that I didn't run again for president of CWA, we have a great president, and he is with you, and our union of 500,000 people is with you. Chris Shelton and the CWA will stand and fight with you everywhere. But I left with a message to our shop stewards that I needed to go back in the streets and figure out how we build the kind of political movement that can stand up against the bastards and the bullshitters. And many of us did that in the Bernie Sanders campaign. In the aftermath of that, it's called Our Revolution. And some say, why revolution? Too strong a word. When you knock on doors and ask people to join, it scares people off. Because if we haven't figured out that we need a political revolution now, when are we going to figure it out? As Fannie Lou Hamer said, if we're not sick and tired now of what we see in this country, if we're not inspired by young people who fight back, if we're not inspired by teachers in West Virginia who stood up, went on strike, and fought back, when will we be inspired? And this union and this leader and these leaders, they know how to inspire us. And you are everywhere. And my organization, Our Revolution, is everywhere. 600 groups. And they have fire in their belly. They look for a fight. Whether you're practicing that kind of fight with the postal workers in the months ahead, or whether you make the ultimate sacrifice and tell them not one day longer, but each day stronger, I pledge to you the hundreds of thousands of members of our revolution are on a crusade for justice, and they will be there for you. Thank you. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back.
How we doing out there? For all the support that we have, ain't no stopping us now. Go anywhere and do anything we want to do. Our next speaker, my sister, A. Philip Randolph Institute president, always there for us. We have a zip code in every city. A. Philip Randolph has a chapter in every city. So we have people to help us fight wherever we go. Clayola Brown.
Lord, I thought I was going to come and be calm this afternoon. Y'all got up in here and just started showing out, boy. Oh, my goodness. And I made the mistake of sitting over there with Hightower, right? Now, I've known him for close to 30 years, and I know every time he's going to hit the mic, he's going to cuss, so I just braced myself. But now he's a rapper. He's making that stuff rhyme, and it's sounding good, right? So I say to you, my brother, you inspired me for sure. As he said, we know a liar when we see one, right? My grandma used to say, if you lie, you gonna steal. Now, we know that to be fact, and I understand the magnitude of her statement now when I look at that fool that sits on the hill, the one that y'all elected as your president. If his mouth is moving, what is he doing? If his mouth is moving, what is he doing? And by God, he even taught his wife, Melania, to do the same thing, and I can't understand a word she be saying, okay? Ooh, makes your head hurt, folks. Every time there's a struggle, I have to remember the founder of the A. Philip Randolph Institute, when Randolph said, power is never given, it's exacted. And that is exactly true. So anytime Dimondstein says to me that he's got something going on in a particular city, our folks, as Liz said, gets busy and get with you, because there's nothing better than a good fight, right? Even if you only get one lick at it, you get that one lick in, you feel good. So we are here to tell APWU, APRI is standing with you, and by daggit, we are going to get that one good lick in as we stand every time when this union gets started. And we stand with pride, we stand with dignity, and we stand with each and every one of you with every inch of muscle that we have. I'm a South Carolina girl, and I stand on every inch of the ground that my shoes will fit on. I am ready for the fight, and when I say I'm talking about the organization. We like a good fight, y'all. If you're gonna pick a fight, you better god doggone pack a lunch, because you're gonna stay a while. We're here with you. We're here with you.
Thank you, Clay. So the United Mine Workers really came out tonight. I got my brother and my good friend over there who just told me he's chilling out because he's mentoring a whole bunch of people how to come up here and speak. So James, raise your hand and wave. No, I got Levi. That's what I just did, my brother. Soon as we get through with the program, my prayers got now, we got time, we're going to call you up here. But with that, the young man from West by God, Virginia, Secretary Treasurer of the United Mine Workers, Levi Allen.
How we doing tonight, brothers and sisters? All right. Before I get into this, first thing I want to tell you what a tremendous, tremendous honor it is just to get introduced by you, Liz. You know, You're an absolute, you're a hero in this movement. We love you. We're glad to have you. All right, so President Roberts sent me here to repeat something we've heard already, which is together we stand, divided we fall. A wrong to one is a wrong to all. The United Mine Workers of America is here to stand with the APWU and make sure that you get a fair contract. We fight against privatization. We fight to keep your jobs. We fight to make sure you get a fair contract that you deserve. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I think Brother Dimondstein, President Dimondstein, is so smart for coming out to make people see the end of this problem, the front end, right at the get-go, because you got to come out swinging. In 2011, the BCOA wouldn't even talk to the United Mine Workers of America. They told President Roberts, your members don't have the guts to take us on. Cecil dropped 10,000 of our members in their backyard in Greene County, Pennsylvania. Do y'all know what happened the next day? President Elias of Consol Energy was on the phone with President Roberts saying, we sure would like to work out a contract. Let me tell you what. I love this idea because I might have grown up a nice little well-adjusted Baptist boy from Moundsville, West Virginia, but I believe Mother Jones said it best. I'm not a humanitarian. I am a hellraiser. I am so honored for the opportunity to be here. And brothers and sisters, APWU, APWU, APWU. Together we stand, divided we fall. A wrong to one is a wrong to all. God bless you all. Thank you for having us.
Y'all feel energized? Wow. We're fortunate to have with us another sister who's been very busy. She spends a lot of time fighting up there on that place where our legislative director spends a lot of her time, Judy Beard. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, as well as the Black Women's Roundtable, Melanie Campbell. Fired up! Fired up! Fired up!
Thank you so very much, APWU President, Secretary Treasurer, all of you all for allowing this small town girl from the great state of Florida, Mims, Florida, to just spend a little time, here with you today. I'm also honored to be a member of the Grand Alliance. And I grew up, and I mentioned, I grew up in this small town, Mims, Florida. And I was so glad to see Mr. Lucy and Clayola, because they taught me the importance of understanding that we are one movement. We're not just a civil rights movement. We're not just a labor movement. We're not just the LGBTQ movement. We're all in this together. And so I grew up, as I said, in Mims, Florida, where my mother, who just, she's an angel looking down on us now, passed about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. But my mother was still driving, Mr. Lucy, at 87 years young. And she could get in that car and drive on up to the post office and handle her business. So I'm here representing my mama also tonight. And as my brother, he seemed so calm, you know, so I'm like, hey, everybody else cussing. I don't know about you, but I'm mad as hell. Why am I so mad as hell? I'm mad as hell that over there is attacking the labor movement, because the labor movement is about me in this movement. I'm mad as hell because they snatching babies from their mamas and their daddies down in Texas. I'm mad as hell because they're attacking everything about all of us, anything dealing with the people. They're trying to take us out. So I'm gonna ask you a question, because we've had a lot of speeches here tonight, and I've been in the back just kind of like taking it all in. How mad as hell are you? What kind of country is this if we let this man or this thing do what he's doing? So last week I was on the Hill with Reverend Sharpton and a bunch of other brothers and sisters from all across the civil rights movement, and the sister was standing there holding her baby, you know? And I'm sitting here saying to myself, what kind of damn country is this turning into? So I want you to stand up with me. I'm a Baptist girl, AME sometimes Baptist. I married a Baptist bill, and that didn't work out, you know. So I'm AME. Maybe I'll find that second husband one day. So just repeat after me. Are you mad as hell? Yeah. Are you ready to fight? Yeah. Are you ready to win? Yeah. Are you mad as hell? Yeah. Are we mad as hell? Yeah. And we're not going to take it no more. No. So we're going to remember in November who was with us, and we're going to take them out. If they don't get it, they'll know soon enough. Thank you.
Almost. It's been an enjoyable hour and a half thus far, yeah? Say hello to our sisters and brothers on the live stream. Hey, hey, hey. A Grand Alliance is in the house again. I think Mr. Mark Dudzic has joined us this evening. He's the National Coordinator of Labor Campaign for Single Payer, and we're happy to have him here with us. Give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, American Postal Workers Union, for your support for Medicare for All. Good evening, brothers and sisters. So we are proud members of the Grand Alliance to Save the Postal Service. We just had a big Medicare for All meeting in Minneapolis, Minnesota this past weekend. And the brothers and sisters at that meeting told me to come here today and to let you know that we stand with you in your fight for a fair contract. We do so because your fight really illustrates how our dysfunctional for-profit healthcare system has wreaked havoc on the lives of the working class in this country. Nowhere else in the world would workers have to face what you face with our Congress's unreasonable mandate that the Postal Service pre-fund decades of retiree health care benefits. The reason no one else has to face that is because in every other industrialized country in the world, health care is treated as a fundamental right of citizenship rather than as a benefit linked to employment. And even more importantly, to us in the Medicare for All movement, is that the recent proposal to privatize the Postal Service is an attack on the very principle that public goods must be publicly administered for the benefit of all. What did the brother say in the video? Everybody gets the same service. The rich folks on Beacon Hill and the poor folks. Everybody gets the same service. And the loss of our Postal Service, which is a beloved institution, and the only public good that's enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, that loss would open up the floodgates for an all-out assault on public goods and public services throughout this country. This is where we draw the line. We draw the line and we stand with you. And you want to see what happens when public goods are treated like commodities? We know what happens because we're in the healthcare justice fight. And healthcare is a public good that's treated as a commodity. And what happens? The rich gets boutique care. The workers get the shaft and the poor have to forage for their care. We cannot let that happen with our Postal Service. It's a cherished American institution. We stand with you on this fight. We draw the line here, and we fight for Medicare for all. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
We're not going to be able to sleep tonight because you're going to still be fired up and ready to go. All right, we're winding down. Time is still good. President's got to close us out, but not quite yet, because I got to bring to you a young man, call you young man, Secretary Treasurer of the New York State AFL-CIO, President of the Coalition of Black Trade Unions, and with all of that, he's Reverend Terrence Melvin.
Fired up! Fired up! Fired up! Fired up! We gotta be ready to fight some hell, to beat the hell out of somebody. I am sick and tired of this moron in the White House that's trying to tell us that he gonna privatize the only agency that's taking care of everybody in this country. Fired up! Fired up! Ready to kick some ass? Join me! Join me and every member of CBTU all across this country, from one end to the other. We're standing with APWU. We're not gonna let this moron in the White House, we're not gonna let him turn us around. We're not gonna let him turn us back. I don't believe we've been brought this far to be left alone. We've been brought this far to fight on like we've never fought on. You are on the front line. You are starting this battle. You are starting this fight when he came into the White House. Now let's be clear. He told us what he was going to do before he got in the White House. So we wasn't afraid. We wasn't scared. We didn't know what was going to happen. But when he got there, we put on our gloves. We put on our battle shoes. We put on our battle gear. We put on all the gear that we needed because we are ready to fight. And tonight we are kicking off the biggest fight of our lives. We are getting together tonight all across this nation for everybody that's looking at us on live stream. And we're saying we ain't gonna take it no damn more. We gonna stand up and we gonna fight like we've never fought before. Every union in this country, every civil rights in this country, we're coming together. We're gonna stand for jobs. We're gonna stand for victory. We're gonna stand for what's right. And I wanna leave you with this. I know we're at the end of our time, but I wanna tell you, Democrat or Republican, if they cut our safety net programs, send them home. If they oppose a living wage, send them home. If they underfund our schools, send them home. If they criminalize our children, send them home. If they hurt immigrant families, send them home. If they won't protect our voting rights, send them home. And if they won't protect our union rights, send them home. And if they won't protect getting a good, fair contract for APWU, send their ass home.
I see another United Mine Workers person over there. Stand up and say hello. Wave. Send them home. 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 All right. Oh, what a way to be fired up and ready to go. We're so fortunate to have had so many of our Grand Alliance supporters in the house with us tonight. And I think the young lady that President Dimondstein put in place to coordinate that is in the house with us. Catherine, are you still here? Catherine Isaac. I know y'all don't want to go, right? But it's time to go. They say you don't got to go, but you got to leave here eventually. Before I bring up my president, say hello to the retirees out there watching. All of the auxiliary out there watching. Say boo to the Postal Service who's watching. It is indeed my honor and a pleasure to bring to you at this time the man who's always got his ear to the ground because he likes to hear what the people got to say. Sisters and brothers, President Mark Dimondstein.
Well, good evening, sisters and brothers here and around the country. I have three additional conclusions after listening to everybody from in addition to what I came with. Number one, you can see my friend Congresswoman Alma Adams for 1,136 days in a row and never see her in the same hat. Number two, the next time we live stream, we may consider a censor. And number three, Sister Powell, our terrific and outstanding MC. Why the heck did you put me after a reverend? Brothers and sisters, I had some notes. I don't need them really because so many of you have said what needs to be said. We're not alone, but sisters and brothers, we are in a fight for our lives. We're in a fight for a decent contract. And when I say we're not alone, the working class is in a fight for our lives, not just here, but around the world. And we are now in a fight, not a new fight, but a fight for the very essence and soul and existence of the public good and the national treasure called the United States Postal Service. And what came out tonight that's so valuable and so important is we can't win this fight alone. We're not in this fight alone. We're together in this fight with our sister and brother postal unions, our labor movement, the Grand Alliance to Save the Public Postal Service, and the people of this country that rely on what we do for their very good. Now, and brothers and sisters, our problems, rising income inequality, diminishing standards of living, declining of the union movement and what that's meant to all workers, attack on voting rights and our democratic rights. Sisters and brothers, it did not start with this administration. It's not going to end with this administration, but it is intensifying with this administration. And this OMB report last week that called for the open and full privatization of the Postal Service is an example of that. So I'm going to skip most of my comments and just say this. First off, are we, people watching, tuning in around the country, the people here and everybody we know, are we going to let these privatizers, like the Heritage Foundation backed by their billionaire benefactors, rip the public postal service away from the people of this country? Are we going to allow them to do away with universal service to every address, 157 million? Are we going to let the privatizers destroy our decent jobs in our union? And are we going to stand for a few private companies, be them UPS or DHL or Pitney Bowes? Or are we going to stand by while they get enriched at the expense of everybody, the 99% of us that make up this country? So we are fighting today for a better tomorrow. And I think we have many challenges. We go to the table tomorrow. The fight for respect and dignity that's been talked about today, of fair wages, secure retirement, safe working conditions. Management has other things in mind. They want more non-career workers that don't make living wages. They want to do away with our job security provisions, won over many years of struggle, many decades of struggle. They don't want to bridge the gaps of the multi-tier system that we're living under, which is divisive and unfair. And so we have those challenges. And now we have the new challenges that came out last week. Not unexpected, but accelerated and advanced challenges. And of course, we have the challenge with all of you to bring to the bargaining table a more vibrant and enhanced and expanded postal service for the people of this country. So we have challenges, and we also have great opportunities. We'll win at the bargaining table when we build the kind of leverage and power that we see in this room today. Workers united with each other, workers in the industry united with each other, workers united with the labor movement and other people who are working in this country, along with our friends and allies in the civil rights community, in the justice community throughout this country. And I appeal to our brothers and sisters throughout, and people tuning in and on the workroom floors throughout the country that are going to be donning stickers tomorrow, fighting today for a better tomorrow, that are going to be wearing union colors every week, sending the boss a message that they demand a decent and a fair contract, that are going to be talking to their families, their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers, their city councils about the fight before us and the fight for justice before us. So while our challenges are great, our opportunities are also great. And I want to end with two things. I want us to take courage and inspiration from the sanitation workers of Memphis 50 years ago, 1,300 African-American men who stood up in the segregated South and took on the powers that be when nobody thought they could win, and they won, sisters and brothers. I want us to take courage and inspiration from the postal strikers of 1970, our forefathers and our foremothers, that engaged in an unlawful strike, not knowing whether they would have their job the next day, not knowing what was going to happen to their family, but knowing that enough was enough and they had to take a stand. And guess what? They were fighting for their today, and they were fighting for us because we were there tomorrow. And I want us to take courage and inspiration from our Stop Staples fight, when we said the U.S. mail is what? The U.S. mail, not for sale. And with many of the allies and friends in this room, people said it couldn't be done. They said, you can't beat these companies. It costs too much money. And with our unity and determination, guess what? We won. And I want us to take courage and inspiration from these West Virginia teachers and education workers. Without the right to strike legally, without the right to collective bargaining, collectively bargain from the streets, exercising their power and leverage to do what had to be done. Enough was enough. And they not only won for themselves, two other things happened. In solidarity, they won for every state worker in West Virginia. And their courage and inspiration lit a fire all over this country amongst teachers and education workers that have spread to states like Oklahoma and North Carolina and Kentucky and Colorado and Arizona. There's a rebellion out there, sisters and brothers, and we should take inspiration and courage. So I'll end with a verse from my favorite song and our labor anthem, Solidarity Forever. I tell people I don't sing these verses because I want you to stay to hear what I have to say. And I'm not Elise. I'm not Sister Elise. So I'll just quote it for you. And the last verse of Solidarity Forever goes like this. In our hands, Now think about this. We're going into negotiations tomorrow. We're going up against this OMB and this White House over the coming months. And workers all over the country are in similar straits and struggles. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, sisters and brothers.
On behalf of the American Postal Workers Union, AFL-CIO, all of the officers, everyone in this room, our friends, our supporters, those who are watching, our families, God bless each and every one of you, and thank you so very much for enjoying us for the CBA Rally of 2018. Fired up! 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 Ready to go! Fired up! Ready to go! Fired up! Ready to go! What do you want? When do you want it? What do you want? When do you want it? What do you want? When do you want it? Good night.